School of Management Studies IGNOU presents an audiobook on the course Mmpc 008 Information Systems for Managers for MBA program. Block 1 Information Technology for Managers. Unit 2 Computer Systems and Smart Devices. Part 1.
Introduction. For any information system, hardware is defined as an machinery that helps in input, processing, storage, and output activities. Similarly, for a computer, the hardware is the collection of devices that perform the functions of input, processing, data storage, and output. In other words, all physical units of a computer system constitute computer hardware. The input device gets the data from the outside world, and the data is stored in the memory. The central processing unit, CPU, processes this data, and the various output devices provide the results. The components communicate with each other through system bus. Each hardware component plays an important role in computing. The arrangement of the component within the system even today is what was suggested in 1945 as stored program concept of computing by von Neumann and is known as von Neumann architecture. Smart devices use internet or the organizational network and work as information processors and information providers. A smart device is an electronic device generally connected to the other devices or networks via different wireless protocols such as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, etc. that can operate to some extent interactively and autonomously. They can be used in almost any industry, from smart manufacturing to healthcare, helping to improve efficiency and optimize operations. Objectives. After reading this unit, you should be able to identify the components of a computer system, describe the elements of a CPU, explain the concept of networking, use plug-and-play devices, and understand about smart devices. Components of a computer. The computer memory is categorized into primary storage and secondary storage. Primary storage stores the data and programs during processing, and secondary storage is used to store the data and programs for future use. Communication devices connect a computer to other computers and devices to facilitate data exchange with them. Computers have been around since 1940s and have been evolving ever since. Computer hardware has mainly evolved through 4 stages. The so-called first generation, 1946 to 1956. Computer was built by vacuum tubes and programming was done by plugging and unplugging cords. The second generation, 1957 to 1963. Computers had transistors. The third generation, 1964 to 1979, computers had integrated circuits, ICs. The fourth generation, 1979 onwards, systems use very large-scale integrated VLSI circuits. Along with the hardware technology, the software also improved in terms of being user-friendly and capability. Every system has software as its integral part, which makes the computer work. The most important software is an operating system, OS, which performs 2 functions. Extend the machine. OS presents to the user an extended machine that is easier to program than the underlying hardware. Manage resources such as processors, memories, timers, disks, mouse, network, printer, etc. OS provides an orderly and controlled allocation of the resources among the various programs competing for them. Central Processing Unit. In order to work, a computer needs some sort of brain. At the core of each computer, there is a device called Central Processing Unit, CPU, which is the brain of the computer. CPU reads the program from the main memory and executes each step of the program, which may involve calculations and decision making. The CPU is responsible for controlling all devices of the computer through its component, the control unit. It initiates a memory operation, which may involve reading data from an input device and storing it into memory, or read data from the memory and display it on an output device. The CPU mainly consists of three parts: control unit, arithmetic and logic unit ALU, and its storage also referred to as the CPU registers. The ALU is the unit which performs all mathematical calculations and logical operations. It performs addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It performs a logical operation by comparing two numbers. It can determine the smaller number, the larger number, or determine if the two numbers are equal. It can also determine whether a number is positive, negative, or zero. A program is a sequence of instructions. An instruction may be an arithmetic operation, a logical operation, an assignment, or a jump. The control unit sequentially accesses program instructions, decodes them, and directs ALU, main memory, also referred to as primary storage, input devices, and output devices, so that the program instructions can be carried out. Execution of one program instruction may require control unit to issue many directives. The ALU may also perform many operations to complete one program instruction. Each operation performed by ALU and control unit is referred to as machine instruction. Each program instruction may involve many machine instructions. A single machine instruction is completed in a machine cycle. The number of machine instructions completed in a second is called the speed of the CPU, and it is measured in MIPS, millions of instructions per second, or BIPS, billions of instructions per second. A CPU also contains a set of registers, which are specialized, small, high-speed memory for storing temporary results of ALU and for storing control information. Computer speed. The length of a CPU is the number of bits it can process in a single cycle. A 64-bit machine can process 64 bits in a single cycle. A 64-bit machine is faster than a 32-bit machine. Today, as faster as 256-bit processors are available, which are much faster than what we used to have earlier. The cycle is defined by the internal clock of the control unit. We have systems with as much as 5.1 GHz, Intel Core i7 and Core i9 based systems provide this speed. Similarly, it may be available with other manufacturers like AMD also. In yesteryears, systems used to be with kilohertz and megahertz. The bus carries data, controls signals, and address in a system. If the data bus width is same as the word length, then one word can be moved at a time. If the bus width is half of word length, 2 cycles are required for moving one word. The instruction set also affects the speed. If the instruction set is simple, as in RISC, reduced instruction set computers, one or more instructions may get executed in each cycle. There will be some long instructions which take more than one cycle. It is possible that a given application extensively uses long instructions, such as scientific computing, and the machine will appear to be slow. There is no direct relationship between clock frequency and the speed of a system. There are benchmark programs that are run to establish the speed of a computer system. Storage and storage devices. The large amount of data is stored on a computer using various types of storage media. The storage media are distinguished by their relative speed, capacity, and resilience to failure. 1. Volatile storage. Information residing in such storage needs continuous power supply. The contents are lost if power supply is switched off. Examples of such storage devices are main memory and cache memory, which we will discuss in the next section. Access to volatile storage is very fast, both because of the technology used and because of the access method. 2. Non-volatile storage. The non-volatile storage media do not require power supply to retain their contents. Examples of such storage media are disks and magnetic tapes. Disk is used for online storage, while tapes are used for archival storage. Disks and magnetic tapes are very reliable storage media. The current technology used for non-volatile storage makes them much slower than volatile storage. Main memory holds the programs and data required by the CPU for carrying out its operations. The primary storage is a semiconductor device that is built using integrated circuits. The data is stored in binary form by main memory. Numeric as well as non-numeric data can be represented in binary form. With 2 binary digits, we can represent 4 different characters. With 3 binary digits, we can represent 8 different characters. Computers internally use 8 binary digits to represent characters and digits. A binary digit is referred to as bit, and 8 bits are called a byte. 256 characters can be represented by a byte. The main memory consists of many thousands of bytes. Types of main memory. Memory can be of various types like random access memory, RAM, and read-only memory, ROM. RAM has become the synonym for main memory. Earlier, the word core memory was used for referring to main memory. RAM is the memory access method and core memory was the technology used in main memory. The core memory technology is not used anymore. RAM is an acronym for Random Access Memory. As the name suggests, any location of the memory can be accessed randomly and the access time too is independent of the location. We will continue to use word RAM to refer to main memory. RAM is very fast. The access time is in nanoseconds. RAM is volatile, that is, the contents of RAM are lost when the power supply to the RAM is discontinued. DRAM, Dynamic Random Access Memory, has been the most common kind of RAM. The data is stored in the cell of transistors and capacitors, and the data has to be refreshed every few milliseconds. SRAM, Static Random Access Memory, does not require periodical refresh. SRAM is faster than DRAM, but is more expensive as compared to DRAM. SDRAM, Synchronous DRAM, is used these days. In fact, the first version of SDRAM, which is also known as DDR, Double Data Rate, RAM, came in 1998. Further advancement in DDR have gone up to DDR5, July 2020, which has capacity of double the capacity of DDR4, that is 2 into 21.3 gigabyte. The DDR4 being of 21.3 gigabyte. A part of computer storage is ROM that cannot be erased or changed. ROM is an acronym for read-only memory. ROM is non-volatile, that is, its contents are not lost when power is switched off. ROM is required for storing the boot program that should not be lost or changed due to any failure. ROM also comes in many flavors such as PROM and EPROM. PROM, Programmable Read-Only Memory, is used for storing some specialized application by the computer designers instead of chip designers. PROM can be written only once. EPROM, Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory, can be erased and reprogrammed many times. Secondary memory. Main memory provides a small amount of volatile storage. But a computer needs to store large amount of data and instructions permanently. The secondary memory is non-volatile and has large capacity. The secondary memory is slow as compared to main memory. Various technologies are used for secondary memory. Some provide random access and others provide sequential access. In sequential access, data must be accessed in the order in which it is stored. For example, if we have stored data of students in the order of their roll numbers, then to retrieve data of student with roll number 20, we need to read and possibly discard the data of students with roll numbers 1 to 19 before we can access the desired data. If direct access is provided, then any part of the data can be accessed directly, without the need to pass by other data in sequence. The sequential access storage devices are referred to as SASD, Sequential Access Storage Devices, and the direct access devices are called DASDs, Direct Access Storage Devices. The most common forms of secondary storage devices are magnetic tapes and magnetic disks. Magnetic tape is one of the common sequential secondary storage mediums. The tape usually is a mylar film coated with iron oxide. Portion of the tape are magnetized to represent bits. It is sequential access device to access the nth block on tape. We must first read the preceding N1 blocks. The main advantages of the magnetic disks are that they are inexpensive, long-lasting, and can store large volume of data in terabytes. Generally, it is used for backup or archival storage of data. Magnetic disk is all made of magnetic material shaped as a thin circular disk and protected by a plastic or acrylic cover. A disk is single-sided if it stores information on only one of its surfaces and double-sided if both surfaces are used. To increase storage capacity, disks are assembled into a disk pack, which may include many surfaces. Information is stored on the disk surface in concentric circles of small width, each having a distinct diameter. Each circle is called a track. For disk packs, the tracks with the same diameter on the various surfaces are called a cylinder. The concept of cylinder is very important because data stored on the same cylinder can be retrieved much faster than if it were distributed among different cylinders. Each concentric circle typically stores the same amount of data. The number of tracks on a disk ranges up to 1023. Each track is divided into sectors. A sector can store up to 4 KB, available in laptop computers. The division of a track into equal-sized blocks or pages is set by the operating system during disk formatting. There is a read-write head which reads data from the disk and writes data to the disk. A disk is mounted on the disk drive which has the motor that rotates it. A read-write head has a mechanical arm attached to it. All arms are connected to an actuator attached to another electrical motor which moves the head in unison and positions it over the cylinder of tracks specified in a block address. RAID, Redundant Array of Independent Disks, is an array of multiple inexpensive hard disks that provides fault tolerance through redundancy and improved access rates. It provides a method of accessing multiple individual disks as they are one large disk. Multiple disks, thereby reducing the risk of losing all data if one disk fails. Usually, RAID is used in a computer which is a file server or a transaction server where data accessibility is critical and fault tolerance is required. RAID is also used in desktop systems for CAD, multimedia editing, and playback systems where higher transfer rates are needed. RAID level storage can be used for three distinct purposes, including capacity. Capacity is a simple one that is especially involved in most every type of RAID setup used. For example, two hard drives can be linked together as a single drive to the OS, effectively making a virtual drive that is twice the capacity. Security. RAID levels can be used for data security by using some of the space on the drives to essentially clone the data that is written to both drives. Once again, with two drives, you can make it so that the data is written to both drives. Performance. Performance is another key reason for using a RAID setup on a personal computer. Also, RAID levels can be used for data security by using some of the space on the drives to essentially clone the data that is written to both drives. Once again, with two drives, you can make it so that the data is written to both drives. The RAID has following levels. 1. RAID 0. It is also known as disk stripping. This is technically not a RAID level since it provides no fault tolerance. Data is written in blocks across multiple drives for fast access. The advantages of striping are the higher access rate and full utilization of the array capacity. The disadvantage is there is no fault tolerance. 2. RAID 1. This is also known as disk mirroring. RAID 1 provides redundancy by writing the data twice. If one disk fails, the other contains an exact duplicate of the data and the RAID can switch to using the mirror drive with no lapse in user accessibility. The disadvantages of mirroring are no improvement in data access speed and higher cost since twice the number of drives is required. However, it provides the best protection of data since the array management software will simply direct all application requests to the surviving disk members when a member of disk fails. 3. RAID 2. In this type of RAID setup, disk striping occurs at the bit level. RAID 2 is seldom deployed because costs to implement are usually high, as a typical setup requires 10 disks and gives poor performance with some I/O operations. 4. RAID 3. RAID Level 3 distributes data across multiple disks and stores additional information on one disk for error correction in recovery. It has high reliability and it is fast. 5. RAID 4. RAID 4 is a configuration in which disk striping happens at the byte level rather than bit level as in RAID 3. 6. RAID 5. It is the most popular configuration. In RAID 5, the additional data, which is used for error detection and correction, is also distributed over many disks. This arrangement has very high reliability and access speed is also good. However, the write operation is slower compared to other RAID configurations. 7. RAID 6. RAID 6 is also used frequently in enterprises. It is identical to RAID 5, except that it is an even more robust because it uses one more parity block than RAID 5. You can have two disks non-functional, dead, and still have a system be operational. There are further RAID levels possible, but above are sufficient for your knowledge. Optical disks are the disks made of plastic, in which lasers that physically burn bits in the disk record data. Here, each bit represents a binary digit 1 and each unpitted area represents binary digit 0. Optical disks are direct access devices. The advantage of optical disks are that the amount of physical disk space needed to record an optical bit is much smaller than usually required by magnetic media and is less susceptible to deterioration. Cache. It is high-speed memory and expensive. The CPU keeps part of the program and the data into cache memory, which it is likely to use frequently. Cache plays a direct role in increasing internet speed than RAM does. RAM and cache are both a form of computer memory. Cache stores images and text from web pages as you view them. Pages in cache are not updated, while RAM refreshes it again and again. Traditionally, cache is categorized as levels that describe its closeness and accessibility to the microprocessor. There are three general cache levels. L1 cache or primary cache is extremely fast but relatively small and is usually embedded in the processor chip as CPU cache. L2 cache or secondary cache is often more capacious than L1. L2 cache may be embedded on the CPU, or it can be on a separate chip or coprocessor and have a high-speed alternative system bus connecting the cache and CPU. That way, it doesn't get slowed by traffic on the main system bus. Level 3 L3 cache is specialized memory developed to improve the performance of L1 and L2.
We were listening to the audiobook by the School of Management Studies IGNOU for MBA program, course code Mmpc 008, Information Systems for Managers. Course Coordinator, Professor Anurag Saxena, School of Management Studies, IGNOU. Voiceover by Renuka. Edited by Ruchi Sharma. Program assisted by Jagbandhu Jana. Program produced by Dr. Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.